Hello everyone, Pally7 here. Welcome back to Diablo 3. This is the speed build that I've been using to farm not only legendaries, but death breath as well. As many of you know, rerolling items in this game can be quite expensive, so having a good bank of currency, good bank of crafting materials in stock all the time is pretty important. And this is kind of what I've used to fund the rest of my builds. As you guys know, I'm all over the place this season, playing everything that the wizard has to offer. And that can be expensive when you're trying to get the proper materials. This is the build I've used to run everything. It is a Tal Rasha set using the Sage crafted set as well. So you have to get the blacksmith plan for this one. But because of the Ring of Royal Grandeur that we have in our cube, it reduces the amount of pieces we need to set in order to get the set bonus. So because this is here, we only need to wear 2 pieces of the Sage's set and 5 pieces of Tal Rasha's in order to get the 6-piece Tal Rasha bonus and the 3-piece, Sage bonus. Sage gives us 1 additional death breath, so just allows us to farm them a little bit quicker. And we already know about the Tal Rasha's set from other videos, but in case you didn't know, basically you want to use different elements. So we have 4 different elements on our bar, and as we use these elements, as we attack enemies with the 4 elements, we're going to gain damage bonuses, send meteors down from the sky, and clear everything out a lot faster. But what really makes this set work, what brings it all together and where you get the majority of your survivability, is going to come from the Orb of Infinite Death. Each time you hit an enemy with an explosive blast, your damage is increased by 10%, but your damage reduction is increased by 20% for 6 seconds, and this stacks up to 4 times. So quite a big, not only damage boost, but damage reduction, incoming damage reduction on this 1 piece of gear. To go along with that, we do have the Wand of Woe, which allows our explosive blast to fire off 3 additional times. Now, if you want to take a look at everything else that makes this tick, we have Electrocute with Surge of Power. This is to trigger the electricity part of the Tal Rasha's bonus. Explosive Blast with Chain Reaction. This allows Chain Reaction to go off multiple times to deal damage around our character. And because of the Wand of Woe, you'll notice that it goes off quite a bit. A lot of explosions there. Teleport, once again, with Calamity, because we want the arcane effect when we teleport. Then we are using Frost Nova with Frozen Mist to leave a frozen area around us that can continue to damage and proc our meteors. Then we're just buffing our weapon damage. Now that we have the 4 elements, we're just buffing our damage with Magic Weapon, Force Weapon, and then the familiar with Spark Flint, Which means we basically have a ton of damage. In the cube, we have Nilfer's Boast for the increased meteor damage and the Ingame to lower our cooldowns. I am currently running on Torment 12. This could easily do Torment 13 with a little bit more optimized gear. Oh, also our rings, focus, and restraint. Because we get all of our survivability from the Orb of Infinite Depth. So I am running this on Torment 12. Like I said, with a little bit more gear, you could run this much higher. You can run this on Torment 13. It is not designed to really push greater rifts, though. This is designed to run normal rifts and get loot. So in order to get it going, you need to fire off your explosive blasts, walk into an enemy group, so you get your survivability popping off on them, cast all of your abilities, get the damage bonus, loot your death breath, and then immediately teleport off to somewhere else. This is your Ingame kicking in, which lowers all of your cooldowns. Your survivability comes from simply hitting these enemies with the explosive blast that I'm constantly spamming and constantly radiating around my character. We're doing this on Torment 12 because, well, it's easier than Torment 13. And on Torment 12, there's a 90% chance that enemies drop 2 death breath. With our Sage's set, we're guaranteed a 3rd death breath. We could get more on Torment 13, but if it takes any time whatsoever to kill an elite pack, then it's not worth our time. We want instant kills. We want to always be moving, always looking for more loot, always looking for more enemies. And with this setup, I've been averaging about 3-minute rifts, and again, I think that could be optimized even more. I will talk about our greater gems once we're done. I kind of forgot to bring that up before the rift started, but they're not too hard to get set up and going, and really only 2 of them are necessary as well. So our main play style is not really stopping to do anything, simply spamming the crap out of our explosive blast, We have the Nemesis Bracers, so we're going to be spawning in these additional elite packs whenever we do find those shrines that give buffs, and constantly moving, constantly trying to just look for more adds so we can get more loot. When you find a dead end, it is possible to run out of arcane power, but just keep spamming the explosive blast and you'll keep your Tal Rasha bonus going, more or less. You will have to teleport every now and then. I think I went the exact opposite way of the door. How unfortunate. Okay, here we go. And we even got a channeling pylon to make this even easier. So, after we kill an elite pack, our Ingium procs, that's how we're able to teleport around. I already mentioned that. But that also means that we're going to be able to cast more explosive blasts per second. I believe we're sitting at 3 casts of this per second, which is a ton of damage radiating off our character. So you really need to do make an emphasis of jumping in between packs quite quickly. If you kind of lose your momentum, the build doesn't die. It doesn't feel like an Archon build if you lose your momentum, but it definitely does come to a crawl and you kind of have to pick up the pace again, kind of like what I just did there. Looks like we're missing out on some blood shards here. So getting started with this at the beginning of a rift can be a little intimidating because if we just walk right in, you can see we die really quickly. So what you have to do in order to get that survivability right away, we'll go ahead and zone out, is turn on your buffs. These don't give you any defenses, but start spamming your explosive blast and then jump into a mob as they're blowing up. And then that's how you get all your survivability ready to go. We're sitting at 77 million toughness, and that will go up as we continue to build up our Tal Rashas. So as long as you're able to keep all of that going, you're going to be fine. But if you just walk in and then start casting Explosive Blast, you're going to take a lot of damage. Get your abilities going, teleport in, and then radiate the damage around you, and it becomes a lot easier to survive things. I've seen some other builds that are using Diamond Skin and a few other defensive cooldowns, defensive traits. I'm not using any of that. Audacity, Glass Cannon, Elemental Exposure, and Evocation. So, you know, we're not trying to cheat death. We're not trying to build shields. We're just going in. We're just dealing damage. If you aren't surviving enough, first of all, I recommend lowering the difficulty because this is all about instantly killing things and getting Death's Breath, and that's it. That's all this is about. But you are dying, you can switch over to Deflection, you can grab Unstable Anomaly down here, you maybe can even get Galvanizing Ward. That might build up a little bit of survivability. But this is what I've been running, and it's been working really well. I've gotten all of these Death Breath today throughout the course of the day. I think we started at 555, so we got up just below 600 in that run, and it took 3 or 4 minutes. This recording's only been 10 minutes long so far. So that's the build. What I've been running, it's been working really, really well. I hope it helps some of you out. Once again, the greater gems, I kind of skipped over them earlier. We are using the Bane of the Powerful. We are using the Wreath of Lightning. Now, this is the one I don't think it's really necessary, but does it help? Yeah. 50% chance on hit to gain Wreath of Lightning, dealing 1,900 weapon damage as lightning around us. That's at level 26. Really, you're getting this because while you're under this effect, you gain a 25% increased movement speed, so it allows you to move through rifts a little bit faster. And, of course, we are also using the Bane of the Trapped, so we deal more damage to close-up enemies. Really, really easy build. Honestly, it's like super chill to play. You just kind of zone out, teleport around, keep spamming your right-click, keep that ability going, and it's a pretty good time. Again, I wouldn't recommend pushing greater rifts with this in any capacity, at least not with this particular setup. There is also another variation you could do if you wanted. I don't believe I have the belt, but you could, if you want to just stick to normal rifts with this to get the Death Breath, you could, you'd have to swap your belt. No, you can put the belt in here. Okay, sorry. Got sidetracked a little bit. You could go with something like a gold wrap in the cube. When you pick up gold, you gain armor. And then you would want to roll around with the Boon of the Hoarder, which, again, I have it here somewhere. I'm not organized at all. So you're going to be dropping gold constantly. And then when you pick up that gold, you're going to basically be immune to damage. You're going to have millions and millions and millions and millions of toughness. The downside to that is you would also need to use an Avarice Band to kind of pick everything up really quickly. And that means you wouldn't be able to use Focus and Restraint And if you did put the Avarice Band in the cube, well, then you're just running into problems because you can't run the Sage set as well without the Royal Grandeur. So, you know, just some things to keep in mind. There are some variations you can do with this depending on what you want to farm, but this is what I have come up with. This is what I've pieced together. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.